All right, guys, we got another headliner that's coming here that's going to blow this thing up. In fact, the couple you're going to hear from is in Jeff Weber's organization. This is one of his many, many large teams, and this couple is a power couple. So, look, how many agree that you got some pretty good insight on Zoom Energy, right? That's a pretty phenomenal service that we have. It can create tremendous revenue. They've got a bonus on the table right now. They just promoted that ends at the end of February, where you can get X amount of customers and earn these bonuses on Zoom Energy. So you want to take advantage of that. But the couple I'm going to share with you right now is going to talk about another service that they have mastered. And when I tell you, Jeff talked about how big the industry is, but these guys are going to go in detail and depth about Impact Health Sharing. In fact, they're probably sick of me because I'm always blowing their phone up every time I got a question. I'm like, hey, I mean,
Never.
she's usually in the middle of watching the kids swim or Ryan's doing something with the kids, and I'm calling like, hey, I got a healthcare question. I feel like I'm bugging them, but they're so good at what they do. They know this very well. In fact, they do a call every Thursday night. Is it 8 or 8:30?
8 o'clock
At eight
Eastern time.
o'clock every Thursday night, specifically geared towards Impact Health Sharing. I highly recommend, if you are going to be marketing the service, you want to learn more about it, that you get on that call as much as possible because it's so informational, it's so motivational. And Ryan and Megan are so educational about this particular service. So I need you to grab a pen and pad, pay close attention because this is going to be some great stuff. They are going to talk to you about how to take advantage of one of the biggest transfers of wealth happening around the globe today. I'm so grateful that they gave us their time. They've got kids and all kind of activities, and I begged and prodded and to get them to come on, and they did it. So please help me welcome to our call my friends Megan and Ryan Williams, Senior Vice President with ACN. Call's all yours, guys.
Thank you, Orrin. You never have to beg us and you never bother us when you call us, you silly man. You are our hero. Are you kidding? We're going to be like you when we grow up. Just a little fun side note for you guys to know about Orrin and Angela, and then Ryan and I, is they have an older son and then they have twin boys. And then we have an older son and twin boys. So we're following in their footsteps. They survived and now their kids are in college and, growing and being amazing young men. And we're just excited. We hope our boys turn out as good as their boys have. So thank you, Orrin, for including us. And man, Jeff is so fun to hear from him. And Hunter, we always love when we get to see you train. We know young people can have huge successes because we have children that we expect to have successes. And we love hearing that. But we are great examples, ladies and gentlemen, of listening to Mr. Weber for 21 years. And so we're very fortunate to have had him in our living room as our very first presenter back in the day, 2002. So we have been building this as a family with my parents and siblings for the last 21 years. Ryan and I have been blessed to be able to retire from traditional background. For those of you who don't know, I taught high school for 8 years. Ryan was on the sheriff's department and the SWAT team for about 11, 12 years. And we built this business part-time, spare time, because we were so excited about residual income. We knew it was the solution for me to get all of my student loans paid off. We knew it was a solution to get time back because he worked so much overtime. We knew that everyone used these services anyways. And back in the day, and Jeff and Ryan and I's old school days, and Orrin, we had one service, one household. And, we built this and built relationships drawing on each other's strengths. And so just so everyone understands the reason we're so honored to be on tonight, and you have heard three of the most amazing trainers so far with Orrin and James and Jeff, that we feel really honored to be here. But we're like Hunter, like we were late in the game, right? And look at the success he's having, and he's only been doing this for the last 3 years. So what does that mean for you? I want you to really look at this and say to yourself, it doesn't matter if you've been in it 21 years. Orrin calls us like we're all ETLs right now. Like we're literally learning this, and COVID changed the world. And so we are building this with new technology. We get to be across the country right now with each of you in your homes, to share some insights that we've gained to build value. And you can build this anywhere in the world. I don't know if you heard that, but Hunter was traveling and he got customers while he was traveling. And he went back to old contacts and new contacts and got referrals. That is what this business is about, is being willing to go out and talk to people. So the first thing you need to write down in everything that you do is you got to be accountable. And Hunter did that so good. He literally said his personal growth was looking at himself in the mirror and holding himself accountable. And, you know, we in the system, that's our team. We always are about holding each other accountable. So just know that this is how come people can have success. And the difference between someone who's thriving and someone who's not is that they are keeping track of what they're doing every single day, and they're taking ownership of their business to learn and to become an expert. So that's what we really want to talk. And we're going to talk about impact right now, but we need you guys to understand that this is not one of the services that you can just ask for a favor and think you can just sign it up because the website shows your rates are better in Zoom. We love it. We live in Cincinnati, Ohio now. We left beautiful California to build in, you know, energy states. We know how valuable energy is, but impact is its own animal. And if you expect to make millions of dollars, you have to treat it like it's a $1 trillion industry that it is. And you've got to have understanding posture to get going in it. Wouldn't you say, Ryan?
For sure.
Okay. So we will share this first thing. Oh, can we share? Is that okay, you guys? We'll stop another person's sound share. Is that okay, Oren, if I stop your sound share for a second? Okay. All right. We just want to make sure everybody has the details for Thursday night. Everyone is welcome in every team on our Thursday night calls for impact. This training is designed for potential clients, business owners, customers, and independent business owners who want to learn this product so that when you show up at your marketing now, like we're out marketing with people and networking with people, you actually sound educated, okay? Because you cannot deal with trillions of dollars and be uneducated.
Yeah, this type of service is really important for you to be knowledgeable, right? This is going to be designed to empower you to sound competent.
Yeah.
When you're talking about healthcare, honestly, when you're talking about some of the services we provide in ACN, you can be a lot, I'm going to say, more simple in nature, right? Mr. Weber said he didn't even know, energy was measured in therms, right? So again, some services you have the convenience of being a little bit non-technical.
Yes.
I got to be honest, if you're going to be in this game dealing with healthcare, you're going to have to sound competent and knowledgeable, which means you're going to have to invest energy. Hunter talked about his personal growth and investing time. You guys, you've got to start opening some books. And some of those books might be jumping on a Thursday call to learn the language, to learn some of the basic information, to take some onus on yourself. I remember, driving in my car from my home to my place of business saying, hey, I've got to learn the language of this business, right? Yeah. I've got to practice speaking what I'm doing. And what's great about our business is everyone and everyone we talk to is a potential client or customer or referral partner or business partner. And healthcare is transformative. We heard a $4 trillion industry is up for grabs. The convenience of impact is it's available in every market, unlike energy where you're targeted to 19 markets. And in some markets, we're not energy competitive, meaning the trends in that particular market might make it that's not a good market to be in because cost-wise, yes, I could ask for a favor for sure. But if we're more expensive by 1 or 2 times, it can be a lot more difficult to build your business on a favor, asking your friends to double their energy bill to support you. Some people will do it, but it's a lot easier in healthcare with this particular product because literally I've not found a person that we're not providing better value to. So again, what we're going to cover here tonight or today with you all is some of the basic information, but we're going to kind of pull the curtains back deeper and go into more information and detail than we normally go into and through on our Thursday night call, because you guys need to understand that this call is not for potential clients. This is for you as independent business owners to become empowered, to become knowledgeable and become special forces, to go out there and start dominating a market. And we need to equip you with the tools to do that.
Now, before we do that, I wanted to say one thing. Jeff did a really great job talking about the value of getting commissionable revenue and building residuals. And the average customer up to this point has been about a $30 bill that is our commissionable revenue. The difference is with Impact is the average commissionable revenue for an Impact healthcare account is $150 a household. Now, what I'm going to show you is when you have, I'm going to give you the thresholds. They go along with the comp plan. So you got to follow the comp plan, but this is for us as independent business owners to understand. If you go out and get 25 Impact accounts and you're now at 10% of your commissionable revenue for your own efforts, those bills will get you an extra $500 to $800 a month in commissionable revenue. Now, this is so different. If you did this with energy, you would not be seeing this result. If you do it with Flash Mobile, which we love Flash Mobile, folks, like we made millions of dollars in the wireless industry, but the average customer was 30 bucks. Okay. That's our commissionable revenue. Now, let's say you keep going and you get referral partners and you learn how to talk to business owners and you sign up an account that has 9 members in it because one business owner is excited to offer this to his employees so we can retain them. And you end up with 50 at the end of the year. What would an extra $1,600 to $2,000 a month look like for your family talking to 50 people? Now I'm going to tell you, Jeff Weber, Oren, Ryan, and I, we all went out and got 50 long distance accounts in our first 30, 40 days. Okay. It was a little different. This can be something you can do this year. And imagine if you make, a referral partnership with PNC insurance agents. You get real estate brokerages. You talk to people who have a ton of book of business already, and you bring over 100 Impact members. Ladies and gentlemen, $3,200 to $4,000 on your own effort, building relationships and helping families save money can change your life. Now, I know in California, there's your mortgage payment, okay? But listen, if you had all of this coming in every single month, your life would be different. And so we wanted to make sure that you understood why we're so passionate about this and why it's worth the time to learn it, because the return on your time, it's going to take a little longer. Okay, this is not, hey, do me a favor and be my cell phone customer and you can really see easily, okay, it's not an $80 bill anymore, it's a $50 bill, like that's easy. This is going to take a little bit because we're changing an entire industry and a perception of 40 years. But when we're first and we get to be the ones who grassroots expand this, like Jeff said, it's going to be generational.
Yeah, it's innovative, right? The industries we're part of. And remember, when we're talking about ACN and this opportunity, all of these services are available.
Yes.
So remember, if you're focusing on energy, great. Realize healthcare is also available. Hunter's got 500 energy customers. What if he got 100 Impact customers along with his 500 energy? I guarantee you he'll triple his residual income with fewer customers originating from healthcare, but it's not one sacrificing the other. They can all come, right?
That's right.
So it's about building growth and success. So let's cut into the details of what this Impact product is and how it works, right? Okay. So when we talk about the differences, first I want us to understand what we're looking for and what we're talking about is what people are looking for. Whether you're an individual, a family, self-employed, a business owner, everyone is looking at the same roughly 5 elements. What are my premiums? Meaning, what does it cost monthly? Second question, what are the copays? Now, some of this language is insurance-y. Don't worry about language differences. Just this is what people are familiar to. What are my deductibles? How much am I going to have to spend out of pocket before the group or organization starts kicking in their money, right? That's called a deductible. Networks. These are the questions people have in order of their priority. Right? Premiums, copays, deductibles, and network. That's the big 4 that you need to be versed at talking about, highlighting the power and benefits. And one of the specific phrases we use in the organization, and you're welcome to steal it, is we're able to cut costs, not care. We cut the cost without cutting care, because here's the problem. If you talk about being cheap and you're talking about healthcare, I don't want cheap healthcare. No. Does this make sense? In a lot of industries, focusing on lowering the cost can be a detriment to you because you don't want cheap car insurance. You don't want cheap homeowners insurance. You don't want cheap coverage. You want valuable coverage, powerful, innovative, comprehensive healthcare that's actually affordable. So, ladies and gentlemen, your language of choice is critical into the way that this is viewed when you're talking to people about healthcare.
It is so important because you guys, we're not sacrificing our care for the money. Now, Ryan and I have had every healthcare plan out there. We have been hired by the government, so we've had them pay for stuff within our paychecks. We had to pay it for ourselves. We've done everything. So when people are looking for healthcare, there are few places you can go. You can go to self-funded private groups like the UPS, they self-fund their group. Doctors come together and they self-fund a group. Religions come together and self-fund a group. And Impact is independent contractors, independent, hardworking individuals and families who want to self-fund without all the craziness. But the problem is we're used to the private pays like Cigna, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Aetna, United. Those are the big guys. And so everyone thinks they're the best. We also have government marketplace. So people will say, well, I only pay $70 a month for my healthcare. That's because they're getting an assistance from the government. They're saying, I only make this much money. And the government says, great, then we'll kick it in. The problem is the minute they make a little bit more than what they say, they get a huge fine. Just ask my cute sister for her $13,000 fine she got because she made more money than she thought. So then people are afraid to make money just so that they can have healthcare. We don't want that. And then there's self-pay. We did that for a while. But before Obamacare, you could afford a self-pay. But now when you see a bill for 50 grand and they're like, oh, cash paying's 50% off, you still don't have $25,000 to pay for it, you guys. So self-pay is not really out there. And so then the last resort people go to is they go and get a job just to get benefits, just to have it. So what if we can give people a solution to healthcare that doesn't sacrifice? It gives them more choices, more freedom. So when you think about Impact and when you go to the trainings and you listen to Impact and you're on their Facebook page, they're all about giving us choices. So you want to use those kinds of words when you're talking to people. I'm able to give people a choice on, and one of the things that is our biggest expense. We were paying $2,400 a month for our family of 5. We had a $10,000 annual deductible as a family, $22,000 if we ended out of network. With Impact Health, we now spend $630 a month, and our family has a $2,500 in or out of network deductible for the year. Max out of pocket is $5,000 with any extra things with a 1090 split. People are going to understand those kind of languages. Now, if you don't, it means you've never used your healthcare, which is okay. You should come to Impact. Okay. So I just want you to know if none of that made sense, that's all right. But any of us who've had kids, someone's broken an arm, you know all these things. And you can get these huge bills and you're wondering, why isn't my healthcare helping me? So again, these are things you've got to be educated enough to sound good about so that people want to do it. So here are the main things, and I'll Ryan go through this, what Impact offers for its members, why it's so good.
So super quickly,
yeah,
these are the highlights. It's comprehensive healthcare, freedom to choose your providers. Telemedicine is like having a family member who's a doctor available on call 24 hours a day to answer your calls to talk about you being sick, ill, or otherwise. They can prescribe medications for you and your family. Over Christmas, we all got a sinus infection, so we use telemedicine. A lot of providers charge people to use telemedicine. With Impact, it's free, it's complimentary, it's part of the program, it's unlimited. So they don't say, well, you can use 10 telemedicine calls, but after that, we start charging you. No, it's unlimited telemedicine. If you want to call a doctor every day because you're lonely, go ahead, right? Telemedicine is available for people to talk to. Plans start at $73 for individuals and families for under $400. So all of this is giving us power to go combat what is out there and available. So focus on these highlights when you're talking about traditional healthcare.
And please use the concept that it's pooled money. Now, let me give you an example. In traditional insurance, small businesses will pool with other small businesses to try to make their healthcare less expensive. That's exactly what we're doing, guys. We're pulling our resources. We just happen to have it done by a nonprofit that's not trying to make big bucks on us. And they're very smart and they're honorable with our money to make it work. Okay. So again, those are some of the things we want you to realize. And it's just like normal. It's just like healthcare, like we would normally get. Everyone gets a card. Like I literally will go to the doctors, hand them my card. They ask for my driver's license. They scan the two. I go sit down. I go have my meeting. I don't even say anything to the receptionist. Now, some people though get there and they're like, oh, my doctor won't take my card. They've never seen him back before. Well, then do what I did and say, great, let's call them. The number's on the back. They'll pay you guys in 10 days. Let's call them. And the lady's like, oh, I'll call while you're in with your kid. I said, perfect. And I come out and she's like, oh, I talked to him. Everything's fine. But again, we have to prepare our members that the only difference with our program is name recognition. That is it. But it works and acts exactly like Blue Cross Blue Shield. They want to get the bill. They want to talk to the provider. They want to set up contracts with the provider. They want to pay the provider. Make this easy for yourselves, but talk to people. You have to tell people that the thing that's going to be the big thing is it's just name recognition. That is all.
And the analogy I utilize often with this is think about your phone, whether you're an Android or an Apple person. How many of you agree you have apps on your phone? Of course we do, right? And they're the apps you use most frequently. Yet there's an app store where there are thousands of apps available to be downloaded on your phone. Well, when you go into a doctor's office, there's a number of apps or providers that are loaded in their system. Now, there's an app store that has thousands of carriers who will pay for medical services. That's where we're located. Impact is located in the cloud. So what we're trying to help that provider do is go to the cloud and pull in Impact into their system as a recognized payer. That is what is missing. Mm-hmm. So when you talk to a receptionist and they say, you're not in our system or we don't accept you, it simply means that we're not already preloaded into their system because no one has ever presented an Impact card into that facility. So they've never had to engage with them.
That's right.
So I need you guys to understand why that is and why there might be some hesitancy or resistance from a medical provider to choose to upload Impact. Here's the reality. So again, now the curtain we're going to pull back, ladies and gentlemen. What we've gone through so far is kind of like normal. Here's the curtain getting pulled back. I need you guys to understand that healthcare is a business. It is a money-making venture. Sadly enough, I'm sorry to tell you, it's a business. That's so right. When you walk into a facility, that facility has created what Megan called a contract with certain carriers. That's why they're preloaded in their system. So when that Dr. Jones provides service to you and that office bills that carrier, that doctor knows how much they're going to get paid for the services that they render. Does that make sense? It's a business.
That's right.
If you present a card that is not in their system, they're going to perform work for you that they cannot recall. They're going to bill an entity they don't know and get paid an amount that they're not aware of.
Right.
Do you understand as a business why they'll be a little bit hesitant to engage in a transaction of unknown? I don't know this company. I don't know how much they're going to pay me. I don't know how long it's going to take for me to get paid. So it's easier for me as a carrier to say, we don't accept you. This is why Impact encourages us to help strengthen the network of the community, which is what we're doing as a grassroots. By presenting the card to as many doctors as we can, help initiate that contact between provider and Impact so we can become known in the community. And therefore, the next person who comes in and presents the card, we're preloaded in the system, because what Impact establishes is contracting. They set up with that provider known rates for services they're going to provide, and Impact pays very handsomely, very fast. Yeah. I will be sad to tell you, there are a lot of private share groups, including other share programs, that delay, browbeat, and do delay tactics to providers, and they don't pay them for 2 years.
That's right.
So the carriers got burnt by a bad experience of a different share program.
That's right.
And are hesitant. Yeah. So again, the curtain's now closing, but I want you guys to understand, take a breath. We'll work through it. Impact will work with you, but you need to prepare your customers, not for travesty, but you need to prepare them for the reality that when you present your card at a carrier or doctor's office, it is possible that that provider is going to say, We don't know what to do with this card. We don't accept it. Prepare your customer now so that you don't get the calls at 10 o'clock at night or 8 o'clock in the morning going, I'm at the doctor with my child and they say they're not going to take it. Yes, they will. Don't worry. Everything will work out, right? They're going to get the care that they need, and Impact will be there to do everything they say they're going to do.
Okay, so one last little tip before we close the curtain is government healthcare that people think, oh, it's so great. The problem is they've been paying the rates of 80 and 90% of Medicare rates, which is too low for the providers. So again, they've also been burned by some of these other companies that are real insurance companies too, because they won't pay them enough. Impact starts their contracting at 125% of Medicare rates. And then all the way up, we've seen it as high as 350 to 1,000%.
Don't say it.
Well,
it's 180% in the guidelines.
It's in the guidelines, but guess what? They pay them well. So the point is that the provider just doesn't know that yet. And so you just need to make sure they understand that. Okay. So that tell your customers, because then they don't get all nervous and scared. It's not a big deal. Okay. Those are some curtain things to say, but we've seen it. Now, a couple things we should know as leaders: how to get a quote immediately. I'm just going to show these really quick. It's always the oldest member of the household, how many people. You need to know the difference between the PRAs. They mean deductible. And then once you meet the risk or the deductible of your household, you would then have a 10%. Impact would pay 90% of the rest of the bills. You need to know what that means. You have to study this, you guys. You need to say, this is what could be out of pocket. Could be $7,500 a year if you pick the $2,500 deductible, whether you're single or family. Okay.
And with this element of it, this is where some people with pricing get a little bit concerned. Megan and I were paying $2,400 for our Blue Cross Blue Shield insurance before Impact. This is actually our pricing. $628 is actually the pricing we pay for our healthcare. Now, I might have a child who needs vaccination, pediatric visits. Now, in Impact, if I take my child for a pediatric visit and they need some immunizations are not going to be paid for by the group. I'm going to have to pay out of pocket for those expenses. It's still going to be run through Impact, but let's say those shots cost $300 or $400. Well, that might be a once or twice a year. I've got to take my kids in for some shots that won't be covered by Impact. But mind you, I'm only spending $628 a month instead of $2,400. So the 2 times a year that I go into the office and I get charged an extra $500, I'm saving $20,000 a year for 2 times a year. I receive a $500 bill. Yeah. So do not make a mountain out of a molehill, focusing on what I don't get for free when it's not free. You've been being beaten over the head with a stick for so long, you don't know what a healthy relationship looks like versus an abusive relationship of traditional insurance.
Ryan, is so true, you guys. People be like, well, I got that free. And I'm like, no, you spent $2,500 a month to have that service included. You know, you guys. So again, if you really get someone's actual coverage of what they get, and then you put it with Impact's guidelines, you're going to be blown away. Now we're going to talk, I'm going to skip that slide, but here's the thing. You need to read the guidelines. If you haven't read the guidelines, you have wasted a year. It takes probably 20 minutes to read them. They're so simple, 13 pages with big pictures. And here's what's so cool. We've had friends. We actually have two lawyer friends who are in the group with us. They're independent business owners. They also love Impact. One of them went from $3,300 a month to $628. So he loves it. But he read those guidelines. He's like, oh my gosh, they give us so much more than we used to have. So it's so interesting. It's really, people see, they read it and they think, oh, it's limiting because it says we have to love our neighbor and we have to live by a certain standard, and they may not cover, vaccinations. Guys, who cares? Oh, that's another one, girls. They don't cover birth control either. But guess what? Birth control pills with your RX pricing is like $4. So who cares? Like, again, you have to be okay with it being different, but it's better. It's how insurance really should be. And then there's one other aspect that you really have to understand that Impact does, whether or not it's pre-existing or it's regular, is they do something called reference-based pricing. And this is such an amazing situation because there are advocates so we're not stuck with high bills. And they also make it so the program doesn't spend a lot of money. So there's 2 reasons why Impact is cheaper. These are the things you need to know So you can combat. Why is it so cheap? We have something called reference-based pricing. Let me show you an example. Here's a friend who was golfing one day. He had cramps, didn't know what was going on, could barely stand. His wife had to come get him and they rushed to the emergency room. He kept thinking, Megan said there's no out of network. I'm going to do this. He gets in surgery. He ends up waking up 3 days later. He was in the hospital for almost 7 days or 8 days total. The bill came to $152,000. Impact looked through the entire thing. This is the end of an 8-page summary. They were able to bring the pricing down to $36,000. Now, if you look here, he paid $150 for his copay at the ER. He had $1,500 left of his primary responsibility amount or deductible. And then he paid 10% of the remaining bill. Impact, our group, paid the 90%. So out of pocket, he paid $5,200. Now, this is life-changing for families. The average time that anything ever gets repriced is the bill has to be over $50,000 or more for your insurance company to even consider negotiating and working with providers on your behalf with traditional insurance. So the fact that Impact is so good and is such a good fiduciary of our money to keep it low. Okay, that's the first way they keep it low. Second way they keep it low is we have something called pre-existing clause for 36 months. It's in the guidelines. It's very, very clear. Again, you have to read the guidelines. Any condition that happened before you became a member in the last 36 months that has been diagnosed, given a sign, symptom, treatment, medication is considered pre-existing. And it's honest and upfront. Now, the great part is they don't include high blood pressure and high cholesterol for future events. So the number one pre-existing condition for Americans is high cholesterol or high blood pressure. And yes, the medicine is discounted through us. That's great. Yes, there are special tests and certain things they have to do every year to make sure they're still okay and they're not going to die. Those will not get applied to their deductible. But Impact says, oh, you have high blood pressure, Ryan. That's okay. You ended up in the hospital thinking you were having a heart attack and you got a $20,000 bill. We're still going to count that for the group because it's the future. So again, preventative things or things that you might have to go see. You might have a child who has anxiety or ADHD. I can't say that right, but you guys understand what I'm saying. Someone might struggle with depression and you might have to see a doctor once or twice a year for that. You might have to pay for that because it's pre-existing, but there's not a future thing that would cause any concern because if I broke my arm, had a heart attack, got cancer, none of that is stemmed from my pre-existing condition. So the group would still share it.
So really what Megan is saying is perspective. When a person brings to you a medical condition that may or may not be deemed pre-existing, like ADHD or depression or anxiety, yes, that is going to be a pre-existing condition. The question is, what future medical bills could originate from those conditions? The likelihood is near zero. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't matter that the person has those various conditions because the prescription benefit is not limited in any way, shape, or form to the members. Even if the medication they're getting is treating a pre-existing condition, we're not reducing the amount of discount the person gets for the medication. So again, all the power of the prescription benefit is still in force. The only thing that is being reserved is the money from the group going to pay for procedures to treat a particular condition. So again, when you simplify it and you understand perspective and scope, you're like, oh, it's no big deal. So my friend's got anxiety or depression. Listen, I'm not minimizing those conditions. I'm just saying, big picture, not a big deal. Long term, there's not a lot of medical expense coming out of that. So when you understand it, having the conversation, and regarding pre-existing, the advocacy of the group is still in place.
That's right.
So let's say I came to the condition with a heart stent. So I have a heart condition that is known diagnosed. A heart stent is a permanent pre-existing condition for my heart. So if I come into the program, I have a heart stent and I have a stroke or I have a heart attack and I go to the hospital and a $200,000 bill is generated, Impact is still going to review and cost advocate that entire bill far greater in discount than if I was cash paying or did not have insurance. So again, the advocacy of the group is still going to be in play. So that $200,000 bill might be discounted to $60,000. Well, it's better to be responsible for $60,000 instead of $200 because the group was still going in there to help lower the bills. So again, you're not out in the cold. Impact doesn't leave you with no help. The only thing they're withholding is the money to pay for those procedures because it was pre-existing. Once you've gone 36 consecutive months without getting treatment for a condition, or you've basically been healthy for that, it falls off automatically and it becomes a shareable medical expense.
That's right. So just to finish up today, we wanted to just build one more value to go and talk to you as well. And some of you are asking us some great questions in the chat. You're welcome to jump on Thursday night and get way more details about the program itself, because that's the time we're going to do it. We want to finish up just talking about the value of what you can bring to the marketplace. And as you're networking and creating referrals and connections and going back to past clients and customers of your Flash and your Energy and all the ID Seal and all the people you've already talked to who wanted to support you, you can go to them and say, I'd like to share this with you, because do you know any business owners who might like to entice more people to work for them, retain the current employees they have, offer healthcare to their group of people to keep them healthy so their employees are better to work with? And having those conversations with people you already know, like, and trust will open up a new group of people you haven't been able to talk to before because we didn't have this much value to offer them. So business owners are looking for a solution to high costs. They want to be able to offer healthcare. Now, this is not insurance. So there are different rules for insurance that play here as well. And employers who have more than 59 employees, 49 employees, don't fall in this. We're looking for those who are smaller. So 49 or less to have these conversations with. But understand, Impact could be a solution where someone hasn't been able to even offer healthcare in the past. They could now bring it to the table. And because of the way things are, they can do a pass-through through their billing and through their payroll. Thank you, honey. And they could also offer a percentage. And as they work longer, give a little bit more value. But the neat part is, ladies and gentlemen, is it's so affordable. I just did a business of 3 employees. And for what the employer was paying for his family every month, he now can pay for 2 other employees along with his family the same amount. And he's giving his employees 50%. He pays for 50%, and then they pay for the other 50% out of their own paychecks. And he was so excited to be able to offer this. And our program was better than what they had before. So for the price of 1 family, he now is having 3 families have healthcare, and it's phenomenal. So I wanted to just leave this with you, that this gives you another arsenal to go out and ask for referrals and talk to people and bring them value, because our grassroots movement for healthcare is going to change the industry. And again, it's not going to be at the expense of an experience. It's going to cut the cost and not the care. And so please realize that this is one of the neatest things that we can be part of. And if we take advantage of this, especially pushing hard the next 3 years, we're going to change our financial dynamics for ourselves and other people. I mean, just knowing that you can help a family save $20,000 or $30,000 a year in potential healthcare costs is huge.
Especially shifting into the gig economy, where so many people are becoming independent, self-employed, independent contractors, social influencers, whatever. AI is dramatically shifting and changing the landscape of employment. And people are going to be displaced from jobs. They're going to need to get healthcare. And we are going to be a bastion of where people are going to be looking. Right now, there's roughly 10,500 subscribers to Impact. Within the next 3 years, like Mr. Weber, we will grow from a 10,000 person subscription group to 100,000. This massive explosion of people looking for a place to go is what we're talking about. This rapid explosion and growth of Impact is laying at your feet, and there's never been a better time to be part of this company than there is today. 2024, 25, 26 will be historic in the record books of the company, where more people will be creating fortunes and future for themselves. As Mr. Weber said, generational wealth on your family tree, there will be a halo drawn around your name because it's where it started from.
That's right. So we hope that this gets you really excited about sharing it, taking time to learn it. I'll put up one more time really quick our link for Thursday night. Everyone is welcome to join us anytime. Let's see, my PowerPoint's not moving like I want it to. Hang on just a second. Again, you'll learn more. We have amazing leaders who take turns teaching this out, people out there in the trenches, getting healthcare consistently with groups and families. You want to hear their testimonials. We want to have more people part of this community. We want your current customers to get on and listen so they even know how to use it. Don't miss the chance that Ryan and I are opening this up to all of you to have the kind of results you deserve. So even if you have existing clients, they are welcome to join our Thursday night so they know how to use this program. And then, of course, be accountable to yourselves, ladies and gentlemen. Commit to talk to 5 business owners this week. Commit to sharing impact and practicing explaining it. Read the guidelines, have posture. If you ever need any system, cut costs, not care, go to the svpsystem.com. You're welcome to have them. We share it with everybody. Oren, I want to give it back to you. I want everyone to know how lucky they are and how lucky we are to have leadership like this. You know, we became SVPs. Oh, there's my other favorite. Ah! That's my best friend right there, Angela. I love her to death. My favorite woman ever. Oh my gosh, Angela, you just made me want to cry. I just love her. Anyways, so we just want you guys to give it back to Oren and his team of leaders, all the other leaders. I mean, we have known these guys for 21 years. We have been friends for so long, and we're so excited to make more friendships and all rise to the top together. So thank you for including us today.